Hello class, this is Mark Wilson, and the movement pattern that I have chosen to analyze is the biomechanics of swimming. Now there are 4 strokes in swimming, and the stroke that I have chosen is the freestyle. Now I'll be breaking this video up into 3 parts. The first part will go over the muscles and joints involved during the freestyle. The second part will go over the lever systems that are involved and how the body moves through the water. And the third part, the phases of swimming and the biomechanics of the body during the freestyle stroke. The first joint involved in the freestyle stroke is the shoulder joint, or also known as the glenohumeral joint, or also known as the ball and socket joint, which is a multi-axial joint. This gives the shoulder and arm a great range of motion, however, a decrease in stability. With the arm moving forward, the muscles involved during shoulder flexion, the synergists would be the pectoralis major, bicep brachii, the antagonist, latissimus dorsi, posterior deltoid, teres major, long head of the tricep, and the stabilizers for both shoulder flexion and extension will be rotator cuff, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. Now during shoulder extension, the synergist will be the posterior deltoid, teres major, long head of the tricep, and antagonist, anterior deltoid, pectoralis major, and bicep brachii. Other muscles involved in the scapula and shoulders is the upper and lower trapezius, along with the rhomboids during scapular retraction and adduction of the shoulders. The elbow is a hinge joint which permits only flexion and extension. You'll be seeing later on you have another hinge joint which is involved during the freestyle stroke, which is in your knee joint. The muscles involved in the elbow joint, which provides flexion and extension during the freestyle stroke. The elbow is flexed the majority through the swim cycle of the freestyle. The muscles involved during elbow flexion are the bicep brachii of the shorehead, brachialis, brachii radialis, and pronator teres. During extension of the elbow, which occurs only at one time, and this will be when the swimmer is driving forward and the arm is aligned with the torso and the wrist is flexed. The muscles involved are the tricep brachii of the long head, tricep brachii lateral head, tricep brachii medial head, and these are the muscles involved in elbow flexion and extension. The hip joint, which is a ball and socket joint and is multi-axial, has mobility, but unlike the shoulder, has stability, which is aided anteriorly by the symphysis pubis and posteriorly by the sacroiliac joint. The hip and pelvis external and internally rotate during the freestyle stroke. Internal rotation occurs on the same side as the arm that is fully extended into the water, and the pelvis is performing external rotation contralateral to this movement. And the muscles that are involved during internal rotation are the gluteus medius, tensor fasciolata, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and the anterior adductors. Also, the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, bicep femoris, and the serratus are the antagonists. Now, the primary muscles that are used in knee flexion and extension during the freestyle stroke are the rectus femoris, vastus intermedialis, vastus lateralis, and vastus medialis. The freestyle stroke is an open kinetic chain movement. Movement at the shoulder joint is a class 3 lever which distally moves down the arm to the elbow, which is a class 1 lever. As the arm propels the body forward, the hips, a class 3 lever, flexes and extends. During the freestyle stroke, you can apply all 3 of Newton's laws of motion. His first law, me applying force on the wall, eventually the opposing force of drag will slow me down until I apply more or equal to or greater force through my levers in order to propel myself forward. During the catch phase, the hand enters the water with the arm fully extended, catching as much water as possible. By channeling the most amount of force of water possible, I will gain great amounts of propulsion, reducing my drag force and turbulence, resulting in my efficiency and laminar flow. The pull phase is an example of Newton's third law. The drag force produced is opposite the direction of my hand in motion. By pulling backwards, I will generate a lift force which is perpendicular to the relative motion of my hand. The hand becomes an example of Bernoulli's principle. The hand, a foil-like object, moves through a fluid at high relative flow velocity, which exerts less pressure than a fluid moving with low relative flow velocity. The hand is a foil because the back of the hand is more curved than the front, making the angle of the hand and line of motion small, creating an angle of attack. During the exit phase, my arm is flexed, finishing in full extension, with the most power and acceleration at this time. The greater force, the larger acceleration generated. My arm then transitions into a recovery phase, in which my arm moves into an angular motion, almost circular shape, which is the most important aspect of swimming and the most technical. My body tends to rotate here, which can cause some instability. However, my stability can increase and become more in control of my center of buoyancy by utilizing a steady breathing rhythm, because our lungs serve as respiration and prevents loss of buoyancy.